What's up guys, Gabe Sicali here, licensed real estate agent in the greater Charlotte area in North Carolina. And I just finished my second year in real estate and want to give you an overview of how it went. The second year was very interesting. It had some highs, lows, and everything in between. I'm going to go into as much detail as I can so that you have the information, you can get a realistic view of what a hardworking real estate agent can do at a young age in their second year in the business. So without further ado, here we go. So I wasn't really sure what to expect for year two because I'd only done 1 year of real estate. The first year was really like the year of first. I mean, first listing, first buyer, a ton of rejection, just kind of figuring out how to do it. Now that I had 1 year done, I felt more capable, more confident. Year two, I just expected to grow from year one. I expected to improve on my mistakes and hopefully do better than year one. Year one definitely shaped year two in the sense that I saw my weak points, I saw what I needed to work on, and I also recognized that it took me about 5 to 6 months to actually figure out how to sell anything, close on any deals, make any money. I didn't really make any money my first 8 months. So year two, I think the most exciting thing and the way it shaped it was that, okay, now I have a full year where I know what I'm doing, I feel good, and I'm ready to go. I'm a big New Year's resolutionist, so going into the new year, I was definitely confident. I had my goals, I had my numbers I wanted to hit. I wanted to sell 15 million. That was really what I wanted to do. I sold 10 million in year one, and I cut my commission a ton. I wasn't able to get my full fee on a lot of deals year one, so I wanted to do double the income of year one. Year one, I made 100, I wanted to do 2, and I wanted to sell 15 million in my second year. Those were like the big expectations, and I was very confident. So the beginning of the year was interesting. I actually secured my 2 largest contracts to date in December before the new year, one of which closed at the end of January and then the other closed at the beginning of January and totaled $2.2 million, or 2.3 I think. I think because I had these 2 deals built up already, I didn't really take a lot of business in January or February, and I ended up having no closings in February. It was great because I had those 2 sales, but I had nothing else built up. I had no pipeline, I had no active buyers, no listings going live or under contract, I had nothing. But that led into one of the biggest issues that I had, I'd say, for the first half of my second year, which was just working really hard to get a number of homes under contract and then only focusing on those homes under contract. I would get like 3 to 5 homes under contract in 1 month. Then the next month I would do no business because I wasn't prospecting, I wasn't seeking new business and building up that pipeline for the next month. So I think this year that's going to be one of the biggest things that I work on. Additionally, one thing that I was really struggling with at this point was purpose. I really felt like I was lacking purpose other than just making these sales and working, and that was it. Like I was a workhorse and I had no purpose beyond that. I always really enjoyed being on social media and trying to share my knowledge and my experience and share good mindsets and positivity. And I was really lacking that because up to that point, I didn't feel like I was an expert enough in the real estate space to pin myself as an expert. I was really struggling to figure out how to get back to social media or just find my purpose. I mean, I think one of the biggest struggles for me in my early 20s was just finding like, what is my life's purpose? What is my main goal? Because I was really losing direction. Now I know exactly what my goal is. I'm fighting for a family. Once I have a family, I want to show them discipline, a work ethic, kindness, compassion, and a life that they can aspire to have as well. Not only is my goal to build a life for my family that they can look up to and appreciate and admire and aspire to have through hard work, discipline, kindness, and excellence, but I want to give a level of service to others that they deserve through a Disney level experience that I try to create for every single client. Buying and selling a home can be really stressful, and now that I know the process extremely well, I really try and focus on giving people an incredible service that they'll never forget. So not only do they refer their friends, but they'll come back and use me again because they know that I'll deliver every time because that's what they deserve. So long story short, I didn't know my why at this point in year two, and I think that really hurt me. March was really when my business started to pick up again. I did 3 deals in March, one of which was extremely difficult. We ended up pushing the closing back by like 3 weeks for lead issues. It was a whole ordeal, but we got it to close. That was 3 closings in March. One was in the low 200s, one was in the low 400s, and the other was in the high 200s. I actually did 4 deals in March, so I picked it back up, but then I only did 1 deal in April and 1 in May. So I had 2 very slow months right after having a good month. And that was kind of the trajectory of the whole year. I realized, okay, I can't be doing this. I got to grind constantly. I did 4 deals in June, 4 in July, and 4 in August.
Are you kidding me?
I grinded really hard, but I did travel a lot throughout those months, which did hurt me. Following that up, I only did 2 deals in September, 1 deal in October.
Are you kidding me?
And then I did 3 deals in November.
For God's sakes, just give me the damn number!
And 3 in December. So I think the biggest thing that I learned in year 2 is that you have to be consistent the whole time because the work that you do for 30 to 60 days is going to impact you for 90 to 120 days. So you have to be prospecting and building for new business constantly. This really started to feel different around October. I think this was a big moment. This was when I really made that connection that I can't be doing the up and down thing. So I did that 1 deal in October and then 3 in November and 3 in December when it's supposed to be the slowest time of the year. And that was really good for me, so I'm proud of myself for that. One thing that I started doing around this time, it's gonna sound really dumb and like cliche, but it's a really good thing to do, and it's made me super productive and way more productive than I was before. And it's simple. It's just writing down 3 things you want to accomplish in the next day, the night before you go to bed. And these 3 things can be as simple as take a lead, film a short form video, follow up with 5 people. It can be that simple, but when I set these 3 things, I notice I accomplish a lot more in a day than I usually do if I don't set those goals. So if you set those 3 things up front, I encourage you to try it. That was a big change for me. I'm a task-oriented guy. It gave me 3 definites that I can accomplish every day. That gave me a positive mindset so that when I wanted to accomplish more in the day, I felt like I was doing good. So in a commission-based job, you have to track your progress, and this was a big thing that I started doing that really helped me. One thing that I learned from 2025 that I absolutely will never do again is overprice a home per a seller's request. Every single time I overpriced a home, the exact same thing happened. The home sat for a while, we didn't get any activity, we had to do a price drop, and by the time we price dropped, everybody who was at the correct price in the first place dropped, and so we were constantly just playing a catch-up game to catch up to the rest of the market, and we never did. Because 2025 was a slower year and a harder year for sellers, this just made it impossible. So every seller is going to want to price their home a little bit higher than it should be. This is your sign to never let them, because you're going to spend a lot of money that you're not going to get a return on. The seller's not going to sell their house, you're not going to sell the house, and it's going to be a waste of time for everybody. It's way better to set a reasonable expectation and say, this is where it's going to sell, most likely. I would advise we price here, rather than saying, oh, we can try this, we can try this. We are not in a fast enough market to try prices, just like we were in 2020, 2021. So you have to price correctly from the start, or it's going to be a lost cause. I also want to touch on AI and how I used it this year. It saved me so much time. In fact, this video format is being designed by AI. By June or July, I really started using AI more, and now I use it multiple times a day, doing different activities, whether that's writing emails, listing agreements, giving me a template for a video idea, conceptualizing a project that I'm working on, whatever it may be. AI has been instrumental in my business. And the more I use it, the more accurate it is to my needs and wants, because it knows what I want and it knows how I act. One of the most important things that I got good at this year was ChatGPT, and 2026 is going to be a lot better because of that. 2 more things that made a big difference in my second year in real estate were both travel time and presentation, and this is what I mean. In year 1, I would take pretty much any business that I could get, and I would travel up to 2 hours for every single client. Doing this, I would see 1 client a day, and I would be exhausted because I'd be traveling for about 3 hours just for 1 client, let alone traveling between the homes for showings, traffic, etc. It was exhausting. In year 2, my goal was to become an expert in my specific area, so I made a 30-minute radius around my house and said I'll sell anywhere in here, but if the lead comes in and it's outside, I will not take it. After making this change, I drove significantly less this year, I made way more money, I sold more homes, and I worked way less time than I did the year before. I was so much more efficient because I could drive 10 minutes to show 10 properties rather than driving 2 hours to show a couple, coming back, and that's the whole day. So even if there's $1 million lead an hour away, it's more beneficial to take 2 $500,000 clients that are 10 minutes away and close the same amount of volume and only have to drive 10 minutes per appointment. And for presentation, I decided to buy a car. I replaced my old Honda Civic with a new Tesla Model Y, and I will tell you, not once did a client question my experience after I made this change. It sounds shallow, but the car is the first thing the client sees when you pull up. If they see a Honda Civic versus a Tesla Model Y, they are going to automatically assume the person in the Tesla Model Y is more experienced and has more knowledge than the person in the Honda Civic. It's all about presentation. It's why you dress for the occasion. Showing up in a nice car is going to do you a lot better than showing up in a lower level car. When you're young in real estate, it is assumed that you have limited experience, so a nice car can prevent. That leads me into the next point, which I think was my biggest takeaway in year 2 of real estate, which was that presentation is extremely important, and just because you're young in real estate does not mean you can't succeed, and I want to explain. The first half of 2025, there was a $3 million buyer that I took around personally for 8 hours the first day I met them and got them Starbucks 3 times in the same day. I was as professional as I could be. I drove them around in my Honda Civic for 8 hours, and after all of that, to my face, this client told me that I am too young to represent them in real estate. This crushed me, it really killed my confidence, and it gave me the impression that no matter what I did, I am not going to be able to deal with higher price point people in real estate because I'm too young. What I've learned now is that is 100% false. I realized it had nothing to do with my age and it had everything to do with presentation. Now I no longer look at them as a high price point client. They're a buyer that needs my help, or they're a seller that needs my help. I have the expertise and confidence to get them where they want, and I need to show them that. So all in all, the biggest difference in presentation for me was just taking control of the situation. Your clients are coming to you because they need an advocate, an advisor, and a guiding light to get them the result that they want. They're not coming to you to say whatever you want or however you choose to do it. They want a decision maker. So you need to be a decision maker, tell them this is going to be the best, and say it with confidence and conviction. And that, combined with dressing for the occasion and showing up in a nice car, you can't beat that. So even if you're young, you can sell high price point homes, and it's all about presentation. So now to get into the part that you've all been waiting for, the money side of it. How many homes did I sell? How did it compare to year one? How did I do, etc. So year one, I sold just shy of 10 million bucks, just shy of it, and I made 100,000 bucks. That was year one. Year two, I went in hoping to beat that, obviously, and I didn't know what to expect. I sold 15.2 million, 29 homes. I don't have my final 1099s for year two, but I roughly doubled what I did in year one and made about $200,000. And after selling over 15 million, 29 homes in year two, and over 25 million in my first 2 years in real estate, the three things that define a successful agent to me are presentation, consistency, and resilience. If you're confident, direct, and specific with your presentation, clients trust you, they believe you, and they know that you know what you're doing. Second thing is consistency, because it is very easy to get a few homes under contract and coast until you close them. Doing this is going to result in very up and down months. You're going to sell a house, no houses the next month, 3 houses the next, none for 2 months. You can't do that if you want to be successful. You can basically double your output if you just stay consistent, because you're going to be closing homes consistently every single month rather than doing a couple every other month, and that's it. And if you're resilient enough to look at your failures in a constructive way, to say, what could I have done differently to produce a different outcome, you are going to be so successful, because that's where people fail so much. They reach their breaking point, they give up, and they lose all their potential. So long story short, presentation, consistency, and resilience were the biggest takeaways for me this year, and I'm very excited for year three because I can put all of the things that I've learned into year three and grind. So for those reasons, I'm very excited for year three. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you do have any questions, leave them in the comments. Subscribe, follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of the above. If you want to learn more about how to make 6 figures your first year in real estate, scale like me, create your own schedule, and run your own business in real estate, send me a DM, leave a comment or whatever. We'll set up a time to discuss mentorship and we'll go from there. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys. Keep killing it. Let's make 2026 the best year yet. Thanks.